You're listening to the D Snyder Show, episode number 14. In this episode, you will discover 3 ways to stand out at work, even if you're already a high achiever, part 2.
Welcome to the Kim D Snyder Podcast.
Welcome. I'm your host, Kim. This is a show for business leaders, consultants, and project managers to discover strategies that leverage your expertise, mindset, and innovation for more success, joy, and fun. For the show notes, go to kimdsnyder.com/014. If you're interested in having me work with your leaders in your organization, go to kimdsnyder.com/hire. Let's get this party started. And in this episode, it's number 2 of 3, you will discover how to be uniquely known, or unique and known for something bigger. What the heck does that mean? That means that there's 2 components. So the first one is that you need to share the personal stories that you have. There's nobody that has the stories and your take on them. It will help you stand out in that sea of sameness and really be different and unique. I've done an episode on this, so I'll put a link in the show notes that you can go look at this and see it more. The second one is really looking at what you do beyond your title, right? So it's kind of a bigger scope and vision so that you can make that bigger impact and result. It also allows you to start working on that next level that you want to go in your career, and the level 2, right? You should always be working 1 or 2 levels. And so if you start expanding that scope, this allows you to do it. So for example, let's take a consultant. Could be an SAP consultant, a Workday consultant, an accounting consultant. Typically, you're just known as an SAP consultant, a Workday consultant. But if you start looking at it as you help you help customers solve business decisions through accurate financial reporting, or accurate HR reporting, or accurate enterprise reporting. However you want to phrase that, now what you've done is you've expanded the scope. You have a bigger scope, and that allows you to start looking at other software, other industries, so maybe not your current clients, maybe common concerns in your current industry. So, HR, maybe you're looking at some of the risk that's going on, or you're looking at different types of software, or you're looking at current trends of the industry to help out just beyond the software. If you're a project manager, project managers is known for, a check marker of tasks. Well, what if you expanded that scope to a change agent for the business? And so now they're managing relationship and risks, and they're successfully rolling out whatever that solution or that initiative is to the company, because it's all about change. If you're an account manager, it's not about buy my stuff. It's about selling a product that provides a solution to a customer. It's about, solving that business need of the customer and looking at it from that standpoint. If you're a VP of finance, it's not being financially viable. It's about, leading the organization to make better financial decisions. And so now, maybe you're looking at risks and projects and initiatives in all departments in the organization, or at smaller dollar values, not just in core areas and investments and tax and assets and buildings and projects and initiatives. Maybe you're looking at it from the marketing standpoint and more in the IT standpoint. It also gives you that ability to get your team ready, get the skills. And so maybe that's another area. Okay, so how do we use all this information? This is crazy, right? It's not. So we use this information about expanding the scope of what you do and the areas that you focus on, not from a work standpoint, but from a study standpoint. And we use it coupled with what we learned in part 1, which is focusing on those areas that we want to work on, those areas of strength. So now we can expand the scope, and now we know what we want to do that extra hour a day, or whatever you decided to do. We also use it to be unique. So now you're not just a VP or a PM or a consultant. Now you're a PM that has a focus on change, or you're a PM that has a focus on risk and relationships or something. So let me give you an example. In that project management example, we went from check marker to maybe change agent in business and managing relationships and risks. Well, guess what? That gives me areas to focus on. I can start looking at change management, I can start looking at relationships and building those. And maybe it's listening skills, negotiation skills, influencing skills. Or maybe I have a desire to start, emphasizing or focusing on the risk frameworks of such as PESTLE and what does PESTLE mean as far as risk and project management. So you can have, 2 project managers now that are starting to differentiate and be unique about the areas of focus that they go, which is really nice. So now when somebody comes along and it's like, hey, this is a big change initiative, perfect, they know the person to do it. Or if there's one that's got a lot of relationships that goes across company lines and departments and divisions, then maybe you pick the one that has the stronger relationship skills. So this is how you start to use this to narrow down and be unique. Now, the other way this helps us is when we want to look at those areas when we get to part 3. Part 3 of this. Your action steps, should you choose to accept this challenge, would be, what are you going to be known for? What's that bigger vision? What's that title? What is that? You're not a PM, you are maybe a change agent for the business. 2, what are those areas that you've identified with that new title? The project manager was a change agent, and maybe they want to focus on relationships or risks. So figure out what those areas for you. If you're super ambitious, go ahead and focus on 2 to 3 unique stories that are going to highlight what you're now known for. So go back, read, listen to that episode, and figure out what you're going to use to support this new bigger vision. The show notes for this episode can be reached at kimdsnyder.com/014. Thank you for listening to 3 Ways to Stand Out at Work, even if you're already a high achiever, part 2. If you like the show, then please leave me a review wherever you're listening or watching. It will help the information get out to the others. To inquire or hire me for your organization, go to kimdsnyder.com/hire. See you in the next episode.